Hey friends, Justin here with a recap of Pam and Tommy, the Hulu series, episode 5, Uncle Jim and Aunt Susie in Duluth. The tape is out, the word is spreading, and basically the damage is being done. Not only to the public image of both Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, but inside their marriage as well. When the public is voraciously consuming your personal information and spreading sex tapes and rumors out in the world about you, they rarely, if ever, think about that there's a human being on the other end. And this show is really interesting to kind of show what damage, the stress and the vitriol caused within Pam and Tommy's relationship. Now, I mean, their relationship was never on the most solid of grounds in the first place, considering episode 2 and how they got married. But public scrutiny seems to really be putting a lot of pressure on their relationships. This is an interesting episode because there's a lot of different dynamics at play. Pamela is on the precipice of an opportunity to be taken seriously in mainstream media. Her film Barbed Wire is just set to be released, and she can't afford a negative press tour. She can't afford a negative season of press to come in because it will distract or disturb the industry executives that are investing in her. It will undercut her ability to make public appearances to promote Barbed Wire and the serious roles that she's trying to take on. And she's also got other business interests. Tommy, the man in her life, wants to sue Penthouse, who's going to publish some stills of the tape. But Pamela, she wants the whole thing to disappear. She doesn't want to sue Penthouse for many reasons. She doesn't want the Bob Guccione, the head of Penthouse, to run the story anyway out of spite. And she also, I picked up on, does not want to burn bridges with people in the industry. She's a darling or a favorite of Playboy and Hugh Hefner right now, but why go to war with other studio heads? And so the men in her life, Tommy Lee, he pressures her into filing this lawsuit. What's interesting about what they show with Tommy's character in this episode is that he and Motley Crue and his ego are on the decline. The Seattle and the Nirvana sound has really taken over mainstream, rock and grunge. It's Third Eye Blind who featured in this episode. It's the Counting Crows. It's Nirvana. It's there's a new sound in town, and even Elektra Records, his own company, is giving top billing to some of these new alternative sounds, and not focusing 100% on Motley Crue. And so there's a dynamic where is Tommy against Pamela in the way that he wants this tape to be mass distributed, to keep his name, in the streets and in the papers and in the press. Pamela doesn't know who to trust, what to trust. She doesn't know her man, Tommy, well enough to trust that he's not excited about this film, this, tape getting out for selfish reasons. This show really makes Jay Leno, who, if you ever listen to Joan Rivers and, a few industry insiders, this show makes Jay Leno just look like a schmuck, kind of a second-rate, hacky comedian who indulges in cheap jokes and is just not above board, But even he is not interested in jumping on the Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee sex tape train until he's sure that, the story has gone wide and people in Duluth, Minnesota know what he's talking about. His humor is so middle America and so low bar that he's got to make sure it connects with all audiences. Really sad kind of to see the effect on Pamela. She's lost her baby. She's lost confidence in her relationship. And now those representing her are starting to catch wind of the situation. You know, the lady who is, promoting her for barbed wire is now in on the conversation and worried about, her own interests. There's a pretty sad scene where Pam is in the Malibu mansion and is praying for, please let the tape disappear and it all go away. Let Barbed Wire be the biggest film in America. Let Tommy's album be the biggest album. We're gonna have the perfect family and the perfect marriage. And those of us that know a little bit about their story, it was a sad scene because we know, that almost none of those prayers came true. Now, she does have a beautiful family, gorgeous, and wonderful children. That was the one prayer that did come true, but this sex tape and the aftermath of it really devastated her life, really devastated her confidence, ruined her marriage, ruined relationships within the industry, even tainted her relationship with Hugh Hefner, as I believe we'll find out in the next episode. I can't imagine being Pamela Anderson going through this and really feeling like she's doing it on her own, as women so often do have to fight the war by themselves. Every move Tommy makes is idiotic. It's a bonehead move, and she can't trust him to step up as the man that he proclaims that he is, and handle anything. He can't even handle himself. He can't handle the pressures of being second billing on Elektra Records. He's not doing a good job of managing his own life, and then put Pamela Anderson, whose career was on the upswing. It wasn't a perfect mix. So this was an interesting episode. It gave a lot of context on a lot of the different pressures that they were both facing as artists and entertainment icons. And you can keep the money. I don't want to deal with that stress for any amount of money. Great music in this episode. I continue to think that the music budget must have been astronomical for this series, but I'm loving it. It's taking me back to the 90s. It's taking me back to the good old days. But good for some. It wasn't a great time for Pam and Tommy. So we'll see where this goes. The next episode or so, we'll probably see the fallout for Barbed Wire, the continued strain on their relationships, and what they do to get back on track. They have children together, Pam and Tommy. So I'm really interested to see the silver lining in this. Pamela is a wonderful person. She's turned out to be kind and generous and interested in politics and contributing to society. So how does someone go through all of this adversity, be a laughingstock of the world, to be ridiculed and not profiting off of your own misery, to being grateful again? I'm really interested for myself to see that journey. So I hope you guys join me next week. Please give this video a like if you will. Comment your favorite part of this episode. And until next week, guys, thank you for watching. Cheers.